Hello, welcome to Easy Does It. This is a show where me, Easy, talks a lot of shit about the Bears, and of course, other Chicago adjacent teams as well. So, welcome to the show. Good to see you guys. What up, Noah? Thank you for tuning in. The show is brought to you by Maruchan Instant Lunch, unofficial sponsor. What up, Crazy Ace? Always glad to have you in. I'm going to talk about something to open up the show that I really never wanted to talk about again, but it's something that's important to me because he's such a scumbag. He's just such a scumbag, and he is at it again, and he's talking shit about the Bears as if he has anything to do with them anymore. I'm doing okay, Ace. I'm doing okay. Hope you're doing well too. But yeah, I'm a little annoyed. I'm a little annoyed right now at Karen Rodgers because he fucking sucks. All right, just plain and simple. That guy is a piece of shit. He is a bad, creepy person. His outlandish conspiracies and obsession with cancel culture lead me to think that he's got to be hiding something himself because no sane person talks as much about the shit he talks about and actually means it. Like, just the whole idea. Yeah, first of all, he's about to get sued by Jimmy Kimmel, and I think Jimmy Kimmel's got a pretty strong case against him. I don't know law. I studied a little bit of law, but not, mostly just contract law. And, but whatever Rogers is doing, like, that's a little messed up. That is a little messed up. What up, Frank? Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, Aaron is Noah's very right. Noah Gross says that Aaron Rodgers is the type of guy who still stalks his high school girlfriend and gets mad when he sees him on a date. Yeah, or when he sees her on a date. Yeah, that's very true. The thing about him is, like, I think he's starting to realize that the only reason anyone gives a shit what he has to say is because his right arm is God's gift to humanity. Or in my case, his right arm is the worst thing that's ever happened to my life personally, but it's really good. It's a really good right arm as far as right arms go. And look, it's clear that he's projecting this fear of cancel culture onto others because he's afraid of getting canceled himself. And I just think he's a bad person. And I stand by that. I used to say, hey, when he goes to the Jets, I don't care. I don't give a shit. He can win as many Super Bowls as he wants with them, as long as he's not, beating the Bears, because I wanted to see Green Bay fans get sad and mad that he was doing so well without them. But now, fuck that guy, man. How are you just going to call out a public figure like that and be like, oh, Jimmy Kimmel's going to be on the list? Like, where does that come from? Like, where do you get off and who do you think you are? Like, that's such a scummy thing to do. That is such a low thing to do. And he also talked shit about the Bears, by the way, saying, what did he say about us again? Just like, oh, it's not really a rivalry, which, I can't argue with that. He's right. Like, he everything he said about the Bears is correct, but, like, you're not on the Packers anymore, my friend. Not friend, my enemy, my tormentor. You're not there anymore. All right? This is not your team. It's Jordan Love's team. And speaking of Jordan Love, we got to face him on Sunday. And we got to have the conversation. So buckle in. Buckle in. Because we got to talk about this. Jordan Love is actually good at football. And if you disagree, you are willfully being delusional. That it's he. And, I know, like, when we compare people to Bears quarterbacks, it's arbitrary because the standards are just all over the place. But, all right, let's look at, like, stats-wise, 30 touchdowns to 11 interceptions in his first full year as a starter. It's really good, really solid numbers. And, yeah, I know, he's had some unclutch moments, some late-game picks in, untimely situations. It's going to happen with young quarterbacks. He also has, nearly 4,000 yards. He's going to eclipse that on Sunday when he plays the Bears. And the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer. So he this season, that he's having with the Packers would be the best season a quarterback has ever had for the Bears. That's embarrassing, man. That's pretty freaking embarrassing. And F. Coughlin, Coward's comments on JF1. Oh, Colin Coward. Yeah, I could call him out. Calling him out. Yeah, he's pretty bad. No, he's not an average. No, this is a dangerous line of thinking. An average quarterback on a good system with a good coach, something the Bears can't do. No, what that means is he's good. That means he's a good quarterback. If he's able to execute the system well and get the ball into the hands of good players and be a quality distributor and make play, he makes plays. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to throw it. It's not like just Jimmy Garoppolo with the Niners, like, oh, I'm going to check it down here, I'm going to throw it here, I'm going to like just excel based on my footwork and my decision making. No, he actually has a really good arm and he can make all kinds of throws from anywhere in the pocket. Like he's a good quarterback and he's going to be a thorn in our side for a very long time. And I'm not saying he's as good as Aaron Rodgers yet because no one really is, but he's really good. He's a good fucking player. I don't know, man. I think you put him on the Bears, he's gonna like he's gonna make some throws. He's a good ass. He's a really good player. I wouldn't be surprised to see him. I don't think he made the Pro Bowl this year, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him as an alternate, and he'll probably make a few Pro Bowls throughout his career. Anyway, I do have a guest that I'm going to welcome on the show pretty soon, but first I kind of want to touch on all the topics that I want to talk about. Yeah, so obviously Jordan Love is a pretty good quarterback, and someone else is a pretty good quarterback, and he's not in the NFL yet, but he is going to be, and he's going to be good. And that is, well, actually, there's a few of them, and that is Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Michael Penix. They're going to be good. Like these guys are very talented. I firmly believe that any of them would have been the first overall pick in last year's draft or the draft of the year before, over Bryce Young and over whoever the hell went 2 years ago. But yeah, these guys are good quarterbacks, right? And we should cool it with the slander on them. And look, I'm a pro Justin guy. I would like the Bears to keep Justin Fields around. Sorry, Noah Gross. But I think they're finding a winning formula, and you got to kind of build upon what they're working on, like what they do well. You got to build upon the winning formula. With that being said, like we don't want to like just put all these guys down because there is a chance that the Bears end up taking Caleb Williams. And so like we don't want to just be talking all that shit about him before he gets here, first of all. And secondly, like we don't want to just be talking shit about him and like, just like putting it out there into the universe that he's really not that good, because we want all we could get for that number one pick if we do decide to trade it. So, just like kind of, we should tone it back on him. The narrative, look, if you want to talk about, who you prefer between Justin and any of these QB prospects, that's fine. We could keep having those conversations. We could talk about, like why we should keep Justin, why we think Justin's a dynamic player, why we think he's going to get better. That's great. But then it's not about Caleb, and it's about how good we think Justin is going to be. It's not about how bad we think Caleb is going to be or how much of a bust he's going to be. No, that's not what this is about. Because and by the way, Drake May, they're pretty good quarterbacks. Like they're going to have good NFL careers. And I think Penix will too. He's got 2 torn ACLs, which is not a great sign. But my God, can he sling it? It looks weird coming from a left arm. But he's good. He's a real good player. I think, and also Drake May, UNC, he wears number 10, kind of a funny looking kid, handsome guy, but funny looking handsome, if that makes sense. He's kind of fallen into this category of, oh, he went to UNC and he wears number 10. So he's Mitch Trubisky, right? He's going to be Mitch Trubisky all over again. It's a little bit of an unfair projection. And I could just prove it by saying, watch Mitch Trubisky's college highlights and then watch Drake May's college highlights. You will see such a stark difference. Mitch Trubisky was just dropping back and running RPOs, quick slants, easy throws. and guys wide open downfield and whatnot. Drake May can sling rock. He absolutely can sling it. Like, that's a real good player. And I think he's going to have success in the NFL. But also, when it comes to talking about quarterbacks, I think it's important to note that we could project all we want to, how good their talent is going to translate to the NFL. Yes, Caleb Williams is unbelievably talented, and Drake May is very talented too. He'd be a first overall pick. Penix is talented. Hell, McCarthy's talented, the Michigan kid. But none of them are. But you can never predict with these guys how consistent they will be at the next level. Consistency is not something that you could project. Even if someone was relatively consistent in college, doesn't always translate to the NFL level. Cut and edit, sling rock. Don't quite understand that, but thank you for the comment. Chicago Clubhouse Network. No, I'm not podcasting in my underwear. Are you crazy? I'm wearing shorts, and I'm wearing Maruchan Instant Lunch. That's right. But, I appreciate Zach supporting me if I did choose to podcast in my underwear, because that is something that I would totally do. I'm probably going to do that now. I'd show you that I'm wearing shorts, but that means I have to stand up, and I don't want to do any of that. But yeah, anyway, cooler with the slander on these young quarterbacks, because one of them might end up coming to the Bears, whether we like it or not. And even if one does, whatever, I'm fine with it. I'll get on board with it. Even though I do want to keep Justin, I support Ryan Poles. I think he's a good GM, and I like what he's done. Anyhow, I think that's T-Nick. That's got to be T-Nick commenting, saying, don't ever podcast in your underwear. I mean, I never show below my waist, so I don't think it would matter. But, I'm not going to do it if that's something, if you don't want me to. Anyhow, before I get my guest on the show, because I know he's just waiting in the wings very patiently, I'll probably talk about this a little bit more once I do add him on the show, but I want to just say, oftentimes when you find yourself criticizing an offensive coordinator, what it really means is my quarterback is bad and he can't execute the plays. And, I want to just say why the criticism of Luke Getsy is warranted. And that is, he never really deserved to be an offensive coordinator in the first place. He really clearly just kind of rode the coattails of Aaron Rodgers, who's a Hall of Famer. And it's not like he's a guy who's had success in other places and then comes to the Bears and it sucks. He didn't run the offense. Like, Aaron Rodgers has always kind of called his own plays and done his own thing and, been a monumental piece of shit. Whereas Getsy, he just kind of was there and laughed at his jokes and held a clipboard for the scumbag, and now he's with us, and whatever he wants to do, just I feel like he just kind of wants to show how smart he is and show how clever he is by calling all these weird plays, when the reality is he's got a bit of imposter syndrome, and it's warranted because he is an imposter. Anyhow, I got Noah Freeman on the show. He's a good friend of mine. We go way back to our days at Camp Shalom. Noah Friedman, welcome to Easy Does It, man. Noah Friedman is a really smart guy who knows a lot about sports and sports journalism, and he's an Arizona State alum. I don't know how to introduce people very well, but how's it going, Noah?
I think you introduced me quite well. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it. For having known me for more than half your life, you did a pretty good job with covering basics. So I appreciate you. I'm happy to be here and happy to talk whatever topics that you've already been discussing. I tuned in a little bit before to hear about your quarterback discussions, because that's obviously a very ongoing topic with Chicago Bears fans here. Also, by the way, my lighting is terrible. Apologies to the Montana energy companies who give me this type of lighting here. So sorry. But yeah, I'm excited to talk whatever it is that's on your mind and whatever is on the minds of the people who are commenting as well. So hello to everybody.
It is nice to have some people here. Noah is in witness protection, says Crooked Commish. Yeah, that's fair to say with the lighting in that house.
And my location too. I'm really out there.
This dude's in Montana. So I still think you look pretty good, Noah, for Jack over here, Jack Zabor saying, you don't like the tight end sneaks? Yeah, not really a big fan of the tight end sneak play. Definitely not my favorite thing in the world. Not Bob Avellini saying Caleb Williams is good. Yeah, he's good. I think he'll be a really good NFL player. So Noah, I kind of want your take on this whole debate that's going on in Chicago, the Justin Fields or Caleb Williams debate. Because right now the Bears have the number 1 pick in the draft and an opportunity to draft the generational talent. Now, I still think Justin Fields is in a lot of ways a generational talent. Yo, Jack, appreciate you, man. Go Lana. I don't know what that says.
Go Lane, go, it says.
Oh, go Lane, go. Got you.
I don't
Good
know if
morning,
he's
Miss
referring to
Sandra.
like Lane Tech. Do you know Lane Tech? That's a high school in like the Chicago area. A good friend of mine, Alex Burstein, went to Lane Tech, and he's now a freshman at Syracuse.
Oh, that's very cool. Well,
yeah.
There you go. Oh, there you go. And there is Crazy Ace mentioning that. So
yeah, see Lane Tech,
nice.
Exactly.
Nice, very nice. Oh,
yeah,
well,
I know my Chicago high schools.
No, you got a lot of knowledge, man. That's cool.
You know what? Commonality for anybody who is from Chicago and knows Whitney Young. Their mascot is the Dolphins, and my high school mascot, Palisades Charter High School, also the Dolphins. Just
there you go. And the Miami Dolphins, got scorigamied 56-19 by the Ravens.
Those matchups always produce fireworks on the offensive.
They are fun.
End of the fields, like
Dolphins Ravens is a fun little combo there. I got to agree with you there.
But I want to one more rabbit hole topic really quick since you brought it up. Do you feel like the Dolphins, the 2023 Dolphins, are this year's 2022 Minnesota Vikings?
Well, not really. In some ways, I guess, but there's some similarities there. I think the difference is those Vikings really did get by on the skin of their teeth a lot. And the Vikings, the Dolphins have blown some teams out. Like, they've blown some guys away. Like, they shit all over Denver. And, they've also, they beat some good teams. Like, I remember the Vikings didn't really play too many good teams last year, whereas, the Dolphins did beat the Cowboys, which was something else. But yeah, I think the similarities are differently there. I think that both teams, the 22 Vikings were pretty clearly frauds from the beginning. And I think it's fair to say the Dolphins might be frauds. The difference is I kind of like the Dolphins, and I like their coach, and I think they're fun. Whereas I don't really think the Vikings were quite as fun.
Well, but yeah, because you're a Bears fan. That makes sense.
Well, yeah, but also I think Mike McDaniel's cool.
And you don't think Kevin O'Connell's cool?
No, I don't. I think Kevin O'Connell is boring.
Okay, well.
No offense to Kevin O'Connell. I'm sure he's a great guy. He probably has it's probably something cool about him. Like, maybe when he plays sorry with his family, he always gets to be the red piece. But
I guess you didn't watch Quarterback.
But what now?
Did you watch Quarterback, the Netflix documentary?
Oh, no, series? I did not.
So you must go watch that, and then maybe your opinion of Kevin O'Connell will change.
Maybe. But also, I know, I take everything with a grain of salt. But
yes, you should. Absolutely.
But yeah, I want to talk about Justin Fields and Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you stand on this, Noah? And by the way, Noah is a third-party independent observer. He is not a Bears fan, although he does he likes the Bears because I'm his friend. So
this is true. Yes, if I had to pick an NFC team, it would be
Jacob Janower. But
right, exactly. Shout out Jacob Janower. If I picked a team from the NFC, it would be either the Giants or the Bears. Bears for obvious reasons, but the Giants because I'm a Colts fan, and so I grew up watching Peyton Manning, and of course I had to root for brother Eli as well when he beat the Patriots twice. So
that was cool. We all loved that, and he beat the Packers twice.
And he did beat the Packers twice. Yeah, in the NFC Championship game in 2007, and then
the divisional
in 2011, 2012. Yeah.
Yep. That was awesome. We loved it.
Open-ended question here. Justin Fields versus Caleb Williams. Well, the last time that I was on this podcasting network, which thank you for having me on once again, I was mentioning that I am a Justin Fields believer. I've always been so, and I believe that the dude has every sort of skill talent to remain higher than proficient in the National Football League. And
I agree.
if I'm not looking at any numbers, so I'm looking purely at skill set, I'd take Justin Fields over any quarterback that's coming out of the 2024 NFL draft right now. And I'm doing it
Okay.
because of experience, his love for Chicago, the fact that the Bears, first of all, are getting everything right in terms of their preparation towards the NFL draft, which all signs pointing towards Matt Eberflus keeping his job, which I think continuity-wise is okay for the Chicago Bears at this point in time.
I can accept it too.
So, again, I've told you this. Matt Eberflus is a fantastic defensive coach, and he should deserve to be in that sort of role. And of course, he had to take that on very early on during the 2023 season because of everything that happened with Alan Williams. And since then, I feel like the Bears defense, to a degree, has been getting maybe a B- grade overall. If you would give that defense a B- overall,
I think throughout the whole season, B-, sure, but
yeah,
overall, I'd probably give them like a BB plus. Looking at it because of just how far they've come since the beginning, and the new defense ever since acquiring Sweat, that's a A- defense.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Except, the only thing holding them back is late in a couple games in the fourth quarter, they kind of get soft.
Sure.
Which, yeah. But anyway, continue.
That Lions game, especially. Oh, God. So I would say.
I agree, Crooked.
Caleb Williams. I looked at his numbers. I've got him pulled up right here on Football Reference. So his Heisman Trophy winning season of 2022, dude completes almost 67% of his passes, 45-37 yardage, 42 touchdowns to 5 picks. Everyone this year is like, this dude is a fake. And to a much lesser degree, of course, because he didn't perform as well as he did during his Heisman Trophy season. But still, look at the numbers. 30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He passed for basically a little less than 1,000 yards. And he completed more percentage of his passes in 2023 than he did 2022. So
wait, less than 1,000 yards? Wait, I didn't catch what
45-37 to 36-33.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you're okay. Yardage. Yeah. So that's a lot fewer.
Yes, exactly. He also played in 2 less games as well because of injury, and then he didn't end up playing in the bowl game, which that is a whole different story for how I wish college football would act in terms of letting coaches go to different teams and not staying through the rest of their season. Star players sitting out because of fear of injury. Listen,
college football has a lot to address.
College football has a ton to address. And I'll just go off on a little tangent before I get back on topic.
Please.
It was the, I believe, 11th anniversary of the Alamo Bowl, in which Robert Griffin III and Baylor beat Washington 67-56, because I guess this is timely because Washington, of course, won the Sugar Bowl the other night.
What was it, 67-56?
67-56. I'll never forget it because I was there.
Robert Griffin.
Lee Greenwood saying, God bless the USA. It was like
RG3 was the quarterback, right?
And RG3 was the quarterback.
My former classmate,
literally
RG3,
his last college football game before he got drafted by Washington. Yeah. And Keith Price was the quarterback for Washington. Far-fetched, but I hope Mac comes back home for cheap. Oh, okay. So Jack wants a reunited Khalil Mack. Although I think he's under contract with the Chargers for multi-years, is he not?
He might have an opt-out, but look, if I were him, I'd want to leave. And the Chargers, I think the Chargers could be in a situation to trade. But I want to go back to your tangent. Continue what you were saying.
Yeah. So why I think Justin Fields deserves to stay. So I talked about Eberflus keeping his job. The first thing they're going to do, if they're smart enough, which the Bears have been lacking in years past, is they're going to fire Luke Getsy, because Luke Getsy is not a good offensive coordinator. And that is a track record with what you had talked about previously of him riding the coattails of Aaron Rodgers, your exact words a few minutes ago. Nathaniel Hackett is another example of a guy who is a solid offensive play caller when Aaron Rodgers isn't there, but also like the Jets are a firestorm right now because of the rotating quarterbacks that they have. But
the Jets are sad.
His 2022 Denver Broncos were not good at all. Like, look at the 2022 Broncos versus the 2023 Broncos with Sean Payton.
He had Russell Wilson playing badly.
Yes. And
doesn't really happen. Like, Russell had a good year.
And still somehow Russell Wilson gets the short end of the stick in Denver.
Yeah.
Which
I do have sympathy for Russell Wilson.
I definitely do. Yeah. Anyway, so back to what the Bears are going to do. The Bears, I wonder if there's an offensive like analyst within, because as crazy as it seems to like promote within because of how bad the offensive play calling has been under Luke Getsy, and I'm not sure how well he's been able to manage his own offensive staff. I would still think that unless you can get some like hot shot from college, that's probably the way the Bears are going to go.
Like a Lincoln Riley type?
And like Justin Fields doesn't have any continuity because his play callers have been a little bit different over the course of his 4 years now in the NFL, right? Between Getsy and Getsy the first 2 years, and then Matt Nagy, it's like, oh god, like
guy flip that. But yes, he started year one with Nagy, past 2 years Getsy, but yes,
exactly. Sorry, I was not trying to list that in chronological order. Anyhow, I just think that Justin Fields needs to catch that sort of break, and the Bears are doing everything right now with the bargain deal that they got in terms of the trading of the number 1 pick from this past year's draft to Carolina. And
absolute theft.
It literally reminds me of the Herschel Walker trade that Dallas and Minnesota executed years ago. That ended up blaming Dallas and Smith.
I like that.
It's a good comp.
Ace, you're going to want to clip that. We're at 27 minutes in. Like we've been live for 27 and a half minutes. That's a great comparison. Want to clip that? That's a really good that makes me very excited. Continue what you were saying. Why don't you remind the audience of the Herschel Walker trade?
Well, I can go look it up right now, but
I'll explain and then I'll let you get back to your point. But basically, the Vikings really wanted a standout running back in like the late 80s, and they traded Herschel Walker for just a boatload of draft picks. And they traded a boatload of draft picks for Herschel Walker.
Correct.
And the Cowboys, were on the receiving end of that, and because they had Herschel Walker, and they turned those into some just amazing players that were key components in their dynasty in the 90s when they won 3 Super Bowls. So yeah, the Bears kind of got a massive haul for Bryce Young. Obviously different position and whatnot, but you got DJ Moore, and then you got a pick that I believe Tyreek Stevenson was the pick that they got for him, in addition to several others. And we have their first overall pick this year, which can be traded again and turned into a bunch of more picks. So yeah. And yeah, Jack, by the way, same. Yeah, Getsy has made me almost miss Nagy too. Almost, not quite. But yeah, so that's basically what happened. So yeah, continue what you were saying, Noah.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say exactly what you were talking about in terms of just the theft that the Bears have been able to pull off. And it's literally just the fact that they have had this kind of uprising and the stock has gone up a little bit, despite the fact that the football results on the field haven't really shown that well. But what happens when you trade the number 1 pick? It's up to the front office to try and build the team that comes out on the field. And the Bears are young anyway. They're young on the defensive side of the football. They're young on the offensive side of the football. They're just overall a young team. They don't have the standouts of old. They don't have the Brian Urlacher and Lance Briggs on defense. They, are slowly starting to get back towards, I don't know. I really love the use of Monsters of the Midway. I really do.
That's the best nickname in all of sports.
It's freaking awesome. And the Bears had a really, top 5 defense. I forget which year it was that Matt Nagy was there, and I think it was Khalil Mack's last year.
No, it was his first year.
Well, no, Khalil Mack's last year with Chicago.
No, his first year with Chicago was 2018 when the Bears were really good.
Okay, yes, you're right. So yes, his first year. So 2018.
The next few years he played a little. He was kind of hurt throughout the years. He's a little banged up. Yeah, 2018, yeah. Correct, Jack. But yeah, no, we really haven't had much success. Like a stammering of success with elite defenses like in 2018. Obviously, the mid 2000s we had saw some really good defenses, but in I guess 2010, 11, and 12 with Julius Peppers, still in his prime, not entirely in his prime, but just kind of towards the twilight of his career before the renaissance with the Packers. The Bears, we've had good defenses, and it finally seems like we have another defense like that. Obviously acquiring Montez Sweat has been massive. Edwards and Edmonds have been kind of their own version of Urlacher and Briggs.
To a much lesser.
Well, to a lesser extent, but Edwards is a baller.
He's a
That guy
Chicago
can.
kid. It's perfect. It's perfect.
That guy can play. He can
Mhm.
just play. And
Yeah.
I think Edmonds has been very good too. But Edwards is just he's all over the place. And which, by the way, I think it's interesting that all over the place is an insult to a quarterback, but a compliment to a defensive player. But yeah, I think. But yeah, Edwards, Edmonds, and then really strong secondary. Like they're finding good secondary guys, and that's that's Ryan Poles is doing. Kyler Gordon, excellent player. And Tyreek Stevenson has been awesome. I still think they should absolutely pay Jalen Johnson, who's been he's a Pro Bowl corner and might be All Pro. I don't know if he will be All Pro, but he I think he's earned it. I think he's earned to the right to at least be in the conversation for All Pro. And, so I think the Bears they are kind of getting back to having that really excellent defense. And that makes me happy.
They're doing all the right things. And like I said, it's not showing on the records books right now, but that's just because of the way that Ryan Poles is starting to envision the team, right? I would hire Gerard Johnson, quarterback coach from Houston. Nice. Okay, that's a good poll.
That is a good. I like that comment, Jeremy. I think that's very smart thinking.
Jeremy's done his research. That's good. I need to. I need that consistency. I need your work ethic, Jeremy. That's good.
Yeah, no, he's done some really good work with obviously with CJ Stroud. Has really gotten the most out of him, and that's something that could definitely continue. Also, there's a guy on the Rams who I think Mr. Chicago mentioned last time. Rams QB. I can't remember his name. Oh, who is it?
I would probably know if I still lived in Los Angeles, but I don't. So
I'm just looking it up real quick. I think it might be his quality. Oh, was it Andrew Carter? No, it might not have been him. But yeah, they have someone who I like. The Rams have someone I like who is not a coordinator, but he is involved obviously in other ways. Also maybe Jay Gruden. That'd be kind of interesting. No, probably the Gruden thing, probably not so much.
Yeah,
Eric Roman has a case to be in the running, but there's a lot of different guys that they can. Really, anyone but Luke Getsy. Hell, my dog could probably call better plays just by putting her paw on random plays than Luke Getsy, because sometimes it feels like Luke Getsy calls things that are just completely counterproductive, and it almost feels.
He calls all the screens, Elijah. If you need a screen, call Luke Getsy. That's the advertisement that Luke Getsy would have if he was in a business. If you need an advertisement, if you need a screen, call Luke Getsy.
And just because I like this video, I'll play the short little the Luke Getsy meme that I made.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit tired. Listen to the sound of my tears. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit nervous that the best of all the years have gone by.
Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit terrified, and then I see the look in your eyes.
Turn around, bite eyes. Every now and then I fall apart.
And I need you now tonight. And I need you more than ever.
I was ready to rock out. That is the music.
That song goes so hard.
But for the people who don't know Elijah very well, and I would think that's a majority of this audience, Elijah is a huge musical theater geek.
That's not true.
It's very true.
That's not true. I'm in a musical theater family.
Yes, and you embrace it.
No, not really. I don't like musicals. I like some musicals. Like I think Hamilton's really good.
We talk
what'd you say?
We talk musicals.
I like
don't
Hamilton. I like Sweeney Todd, but I'm really not a musical guy. I'm just in a musical theater family.
There was inspiration behind the video you created. That is all.
Yes, there was, and that is called. It's a meme template that's been going around.
Or as Bryce Harper says, meme.
Oh, that's brutal. Absolutely brutal. Yeah, Jack appreciates it. Thank you, not Bob Avellini. Thank you, Jeremy. Yeah, I do remember that, Jack. I remember when he ran DJ Moore up the middle. I remember his reverse to Tyler Scott on 3rd and 1 against the Browns. I remember a lot of things. I remember the first fucking drive of the season. We have a 3rd and 1. We try the brotherly shove. It doesn't work. we try it with Cole Kmet, it doesn't work, and then the next play we just tried it with Fields and it doesn't work, and it's just like I knew it was going to be a long season right from the get-go because of how poorly that first drive went. But yeah, anyway, you're right, Noah. Luke Getsy loves to call all the screens in the world, and he's not very smart, and he doesn't really know what he's doing when he calls these plays. I do want to talk.
I was going to say, do you think Luke Getsy was the play caller for Jalen Milroe's run up the middle during the final drive of overtime in the Rose Bowl?
That is such. There is a meme opportunity there. There is. Like that's a really good take. You know that meme where it's like, you got the coach, the Alabama coach, and then he pulls off his mask and he's like, surprise, and it's really Luke Getsy. Like, yeah, that very likely was the case. What was Alabama doing? I was happy. Don't get me wrong. Like, Bama losing is a gift, always a gift. But
shout out Bill O'Brien. Because
shout out Bill O'Brien,
the Alabama offensive coordinator. But
that's so funny. Oh yeah, there you go. But like get the guy on the outside. Also, I don't know, maybe Milroe panicked because it was such a bad snap.
That was a design run all the way through. There's no way.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a bad snap. I think it was a clean snap, and I think Milroe knew exactly what he wanted to do. And on 4th and goal, that was yikes.
Speaking of quarterbacks running into the end zone from inside the 5-yard line, I want to talk a little bit more about Justin's value add. And this is, something that kind of adds to that makes Justin unique, something that separates Justin from other players in the NFL. Not every other player, but, from other players in general. And that is, and it's one play I'm going to show. It's 6 seconds, and I'll show the play, and then I'll kind of talk about it.
Tanyan in at tight end, handed off. Johnson marches through.
All right, so that's a rushing touchdown for Roschon Johnson. I'm going to show it again one more time, and I want you to watch 93 potential excuse me, wrong pipe. Potential future Hall of Famer for I'm glad Noah liked the wrong pipe joke. Number 93 is potential future Hall of Famer Calais Campbell on the Falcons. Really great defensive lineman. I met him at the NFL Honors last year. Really nice guy. Or 2 years ago. Oh, wow. But yeah, I'm going to show the play again.
Tanyan in at tight end, handed off. Johnson marches through.
So that is a touchdown, obviously, for the running back. Not going to show up in Justin's stats. But if you notice, 93 really bites on that read option. He bites on Justin holding the ball. And because of that, he's not able to get his big frame in there to make the stop. So it's one of those things where, you don't count that as a touchdown for Justin, but you got to give him some kind of credit for being able to make plays like that, because Kirk Cousins is not going to, bait the defense like that. He's not going to get a guy to go towards him instead of going towards the ball carrier. Most quarterbacks are not, athletic to the point where they're going to get Calais Campbell completely selling out on them instead of stopping the play. Now, Caleb Williams, he probably is, he's probably one of those guys that could get, some attention that way. But it seems like something that Justin does really well that does not show up in the stats again, but, is still something that he really excels at is, play action and, being deceptive. It's like he really has taken that part of his game seriously. And I think that's something that Luke Getsy, until last week, really, he hadn't been calling very much all season. But that's somewhere that Justin could have so much success because he sells the shit out of those fakes. And, just by nature of who he is, defensive linemen are always, always, always going to give him attention, which should make things easier for running backs, especially for feature backs like Saquon Barkley if we want to bring him in. But anyway, point I'm making, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that, Noah Friedman?
First of all, I just wanted to say that the broadcaster you heard on that clip was Chris Lewis, who people probably don't know a whole lot about.
He did a great job.
He's a good broadcaster, and the only reason I know him is because he went to the same sports broadcasting camp that I grew up going to. So
that's awesome.
I hope that my path will be similar to Chris's in that he worked very hard, Boise State, and now he's calling games for the NFL.
We're still working out that deal where I get 1% of your contract when you work with.
Yes, of course, because you have contributed to pretty much all of my success as a broadcaster.
Oh,
and
no.
Having me be on this platform on Easy Does It and Chicago Clubhouse, shout out you guys. Anyway.
Oh yeah. Well, no, we love having you on, man. Like you are. Yeah, like everyone, like speaks highly of you, like at the network. Like I remember the last show when the last time we had you on. Obviously, you weren't saying much at the beginning, but then once you made your points, everyone was like, "Man, that Noah Freeman, he's got to talk more. He knows what's up." But yeah, but no, that was a good announcer call. But yeah, well, what do you think? But just because we always go down our little rabbit holes, but like, what do you think is the value of, like, do you see what I'm talking about when I say like there's inquantifiable value? Because he didn't throw a touchdown there. He didn't run for a touchdown there, but him being who he is helped contribute, like helped make that play a touchdown.
Yes. Calais Campbell was a deer in headlights. Like I literally watched that play back twice, and I'd seen that play actually on social media when it happened, and I thought nothing of it. But of course, you being the film guru savant that you are, exactly. You were able to break that down, and I was able to see a deer in headlights, and that is a 6'8" deer in headlights in Calais Campbell, who quite literally is one of the biggest guys that you'll probably ever see. And Elijah, you can attest to it. You literally were.
I met him. I'm not usually like intimidated when I meet like athletes, and I wasn't intimidated because he's a gentle giant. Like, he's Hagrid. He's such a nice guy. Mm-hmm. But like I was a little like, oh my, like that's a big man. His arms, his wingspan is just insane. Like he could have been an elite NBA player, I think. But no, he was like I said, he might go to the Hall of Fame. Like he's a really, really good.
I think if he doesn't go to the Hall of Fame in Canton, he'll go to the Hall of Fame in personality and just good, kind human beingness.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to talk about Calais a little bit on the show because I respect the hell out of that guy. Like
he would be an awesome bear. I mean, and
he would have been an awesome bear. He would have been.
He's like 37 now, isn't he? Like 36, 37. He's like up there.
Honestly, like sometimes bringing in like an old defensive lineman like that could be very helpful, like as a rotational piece. Yeah. And that's kind of what I like about what Eberflus is doing, because it seems like a lot of these guys that are rotating in and out of the system are doing pretty dang good. He's getting really good play out of Kyler Gordon, who is a second-year player. Great play out of defensive player of the week, Tyreek Stevenson. And Terrell Smith, the corner, number 32, always comes in, is doing a really nice job too. And it's just like, like Gervon Dexter coming in on the line, like, he's getting, it seems like we got some revolving doors on defense in a good way, meaning like, like you could plug and play a lot of guys in a lot of positions and they'll more than hold their own.
Right. And I'm going to get back on topic here with what you're talking about with Justin Fields being the deceptor of all deceptors. There are three quarterbacks that I can name off the top of my head right now who are in the upper echelon of elite runners as quarterbacks: Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields.
Yep.
Three guys just off the top of my head. Like I didn't say, where they rank in terms of
right. Yeah, not in order, but yes.
Not in order. I'm just saying three quarterbacks, elite runners who play quarterback. Justin Fields is one of them. And
absolutely.
So I looked at a stat while
and Mitch Trubisky, kidding.
Haha. Although I believe he's, scratching this. I mean, if Mason Rudolph wasn't playing well, Mitch Trubisky would be in the game. But Mason Rudolph's actually playing well, and it's his time of the year anyway, because Christmas season is Rudolph's season. So, but I love making jokes as a Jewish person. Anyhow,
I wish he played for the Cincinnati Reds, because then he'd be Rudolph the Red.
Yeah, see, that just doesn't ring as well, because you want to say nose reindeer.
Well, I mean, maybe he's very knowledgeable about weather, and then you could say he could tell his wife, "Hey, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer."
Did you?
This is terrible podcasting. I love it. Oh my god. Anyway,
I was just gonna say, okay, so Justin Fields, what he's able to do, and how the NFL offense itself, just in general, has been able to evolve to support a running quarterback like Luna Zelonke.
Oh yeah, the puppy's on the show. Welcome to the show, Luna.
I miss that dog so much. Like just thinking about Justin Fields and the way that he's able to fake out defenses because of like RPOs, right? Like it's something that Luke Getsy should have learned when he became an offensive coordinator and really utilized Justin Fields to that extent. But let me just say, in terms of the Falcons game the other day, Justin Fields had his best game in terms of dropbacks. He was pressured 35.8% of the time, I think is what I read. 35.9%. It's his lowest pressure rate in a game this season. And when you
credit
can
to the
have
offensive line then.
Yeah, credit to the offensive line, but also, of course, you have a dynamic quarterback like Justin Fields, who is able to go out and make plays and do his thing, whether it's – and I think the knack on Justin Fields is that if he is under duress and his intention is not to run, if he's just, scrambling around in the pocket and then he gets outside, like, people think his mind shuts off because he might make, dumb decisions. But I don't see it that way. What I just described to you was more so Josh Allen, not Justin Fields. I feel like Justin Fields.
By the way, I put Allen in the category of dynamic runners in the NFL.
I think there's another tier. If there's another tier after the three guys I named, Josh Allen is right there. Like Jack Frost nipping at your toes, that kind of thing. So I don't put Josh Allen in that category with those three guys. I think it's like very close though. It's like 1A, 1B. But
that's fair.
But I see your point. I think Josh Allen's a good runner, but he's got a better arm than all three of the guys that I just named anyway. So there's that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Let me close by saying Justin Fields is a dynamic threat who needs to have an offensive guy that he can be on the same page with for more than one season and have somebody who can unlock his full potential while Matt Eberflus is still the head coach of the Chicago Bears and is able to manage the defense as well as he has this season. I will say that.
I completely agree. And I think that the number one priority this offseason, like the first thing they should do is hire their next offensive coordinator.
Yes.
I think that's so important. I'd like to get someone who isn't very far removed from playing football, probably playing quarterback.
Josh McCown.
I'd love, you know me. I'm a Josh McCown.
Josh McCown guy.
I am a sucker for Josh McCown. That's a weird sentence, but I love Josh McCown. I think he's the best quarterback the Bears have ever had. No, sure. Like those 5 games, he was awesome. He threw one interception, and it was like a desperation interception, and he threw like 13 touchdowns. I think, like that should be the number one priority. The draft, like you can draft who you want when the draft comes around, but the number one priority should be, give Justin his 5th year option. Because I think he's at least earned 2 years because he's so fun to watch. Like he's at the very least, he's enjoyable to watch play football. And the Bears have been winning with him. The number one, extend Jalen Johnson, I say, should also be a top priority. Do the 5th year option for Justin Fields and, bring in that offensive coordinator so they could get to work like as quickly as possible. We want to see them get to work. We want to see them come up with stuff and, kind of create their system. Like I'm hoping that they get started in January, after the game. Also, I'm going to show you, I don't know if you remember, but this is the play that sums up the 2023 Panthers just because I like showing it and T-Nick always laughs at it. So here's the play.
Shoot.
Did you catch it?
No. Wait, was I supposed to catch something?
Watch this catch.
He didn't get his feet in bounds.
Yeah, but it's like he did everything he could to not get his feet in bounds.
Yeah, it's like he ended up...
It's like anti-toe drag swag.
It's like when you're going down the water slide and you decide to go backwards, like belly first, but then with your feet.
Yes.
You know
I mean? Exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly like that.
It might be the worst catch I've ever seen.
Was that Mingo? I think that was Mingo.
I think it was Mingo, who's by the way, got some potential, but brutal play.
What the hell is even that?
That guy kind of looks like Eberflus.
He kind of does, yeah.
A little bit.
But he doesn't sound like he's from Chicago. He sounds like he's from New York or Philly.
Yeah, something like that.
He's a street guy.
Sounds differently. But yeah. Anyway, I want to say, I want to talk just a couple things that I talked about. Obviously, we talked a lot about Justin Fields. We talked a lot about Getsy. Do you think Jordan Love is as good as I'm saying he is, or do you think he's just kind of having a good year and that he could be figured out? Please tell me you think he could be figured out. Noah, please tell me that, please.
Why? Because you want to debate me?
No, because I want to be wrong.
Well, yeah, because you're anti-Packers. I get it.
Well, yeah, we're all anti-Packers.
I want to be anti-Packers with you, Elijah, but I can't because Jordan Love is a good quarterback. And here's why. Jordan Love has been able to utilize his numbers. And I don't know what those are off the top of my head, but I'm sure they're good. And I think you mentioned them actually with
30 touchdowns, 11 picks, 3,800 yards.
Yeah, exactly. And he's been doing that with one of the most inconsistent second-year wide receivers I've ever seen, Christian Watson, who literally is so dynamic when he plays, and then when he runs 5 steps, he blows out his hamstring. And I feel so bad for the guy because I really want to see him on the field.
They do have a nice offensive line, I will say, those Packers.
And that's without David Bakhtiari, too.
But they have like a system. They hold a lot and get away with it. Like they have a whole thing that works. Like they learned how to hold without getting flagged.
Download those clips. I want to see them. I want to see.
Just look up Packers week 1 or Packers week 2 or Packers week 3, all the way through
Packers weeks,
all the way through Packers week 18 for
week
the past 10 years.
What are you doing? No, stop it. Okay. Anyway, let me get back to the more eloquent point. I appreciated what you did with your nose just then. That was actually very impressive. Turning on and off the mic. Jordan Love has had Christian Watson, who has been injured a lot. He has had Romeo Doubs, who also has a past injury history. Yep. The Packers did a smart thing. They drafted 2 rookie tight ends, Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave. Both of them have not seen the field consistently. Luke Musgrave, I don't remember which week it was, but he went down and he's been on IR. And they've essentially, Matt LaFleur and the Packers have essentially, and I'm only saying this because I'm just thinking about the rookie tight ends. Who are the last 2 rookie tight ends to have an impact on a team in the last 12, 13 years?
In the last 12, 13 years, the last 2 rookie tight ends to have an impact on the team?
On the same team, same draft. Actually, no, it wasn't the same draft. It was, I think, guy was drafted in 2010 and then guy was drafted in 2020.
Gronkowski and Hernandez.
Exactly. So I'm just thinking about the Patriots comp. Because if you think about those Tom Brady Patriots teams over the course of that time, they didn't have anybody at receiver. They had like Ken Tompkins. Like, think about Tom Brady carving out the league. Like, this is a much lower comparison to what I'm saying right now with Jordan Love. But also thinking about Jordan Love's numbers and what he's been able to do with the offensive weapons that he has gotten, it's been very impressive to watch. And I think that Jordan Love's pocket presence is excellent. His down the field ball is excellent. And I know that I'm running circles around your mind right now because it's another Packers quarterback.
We're in agreement here. Like, that's just sad.
Begrudgingly on your end, because of course, you have there's a bias there. With me, again, independent third-party observer. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm essentially like the Green Party, libertarian.
Libertarian.
Yeah, I'm libertarian.
So you're the cult party.
Somebody, I am the cult party. That's true. The Colts have their own problems, man. I don't want to get down that rabbit hole. This
Playoffs. Don't talk about it. Playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs. I just hope we can win a game.
Playoffs.
But yeah, y'all might make the playoffs. But continue what you were saying before I Jim Mora to you.
I love it. Thank you. I'm glad that you had that saved. Because
of course.
One of my favorite sports clips of all time. I mean, Jim Mora, whether he says playoffs or whether he says, we couldn't do diddly poo.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Yeah, good stuff.
I have that too, but I'm not going to play it too long.
He actually had a soundbite the other day because he's actually a TV analyst for a local New Orleans TV station. And when the Saints were in LA to take on the Chargers on Thursday Night Football, I believe it was recently, Jim Mora had a viral moment once again, and he's doing it. I think he's like 88 years old right now.
Yeah, I thought he died until last year. I realized he was alive.
Oh, that's morbid.
Pretty morbid, I know. Well, I got corrected on this network, but yeah, no, I love Jim Mora, and I'm glad he's still kicking.
Yeah, he's definitely still kicking.
Shout out to my man Terrence.
I accidentally played an ad, but we'll probably play that later. But continue what you were saying.
What was that ad? I'm genuinely curious.
Oh, well, again, we might as well go ahead and pay a few bills right now.
Yeah, do it.
And then we got some more growth comments. Let's see.
Roll tape.
So this is about we're pay some bills.
Listen, shout out to my man Terrence from Chicago's Clubhouse podcast, from the Moors brewing company here in Chicago, Illinois. All right, we got bros out here putting out this for the Moors. It's tasty. I didn't even have to come on here lying about this. All right, this tastes like what I like when I drink a beer. I don't drink a beer often because I'm too big and I need to stay off of carbonated drinks. But this is the carbonated drink you need to open up and crack and take a sip. All right, if you want to come out of the dark ages, be educated. All right, get you some of this Moors brew right here. It's definitely tasty. You can get it in Embark and High Park.
Whoa. I thought we were a team. Where's mines? And when are we getting in Tempe, Arizona?
I guess we're going to have to find out, man. But everybody out there, for here in Chicago, go to Embark and pick you up some Moors.
Yeah, drink Moore's beer or water if you're Noah Friedman. Is that water, Noah?
This is water, yes.
Yep, we love water.
I just wanted to imitate the ad, so
fair.
I don't want to get in trouble with anybody at Chicago Clubhouse Network, so I just also this is tap water from like the sink, so
there you go. Noah Gross has a question for you.
I love Noah Gross.
Yeah, we love Noah Gross. Obviously, he's our guy, but he and I talked at length last time about how the Bears might benefit from spending some money on a high-end running back, meaning Saquon, maybe Derrick Henry, but probably Saquon. We kind of want your perspective on that, given how the Colts have done the same thing and are playing just about as well as anyone could ask for.
I think the Colts are. I mentioned this to you when we were texting earlier today, how I feel like the Colts are still at least a year away. I think that's probably the best way to put it. What Noah Gross just said, they're playing as well as anybody could have asked them to. And yeah, they're on the cusp. If they win on Saturday against the Texans, they're on the cusp of a playoff berth. And they could even win the division if the Jaguars lose, which is kind of crazy to think about. I think that, and I've been critical of the Bears running back room. I think that they have some solid running backs, but they don't have an elite running back. And so
I like Roschon, right?
Like I really like Khalil Herbert, even though he went to that other dumb school. I really like Roschon Johnson, even though I don't necessarily consider him like a good NFL running back. But like again,
he's a good running back. He's solid.
He's fine. But that's what I'm saying. Like, are the Bears better if they have a Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry? Sure, because of the name persona and the scheme. But again, this all comes down to who is going to run the offense next year, and that is priority number one, as we mentioned. So yeah, the Bears could go out and get the Derrick Henrys or the Saquon Barkleys and have that brand recognition in the backfield for the first time since Matt Forte, if we're really being honest, and create the next legacy of a Bears running back, because there's so many Bears running backs that have filtered through since Matt Forte. I guess he left. He didn't retire, right? He left, and I think he played
the Jets, right?
Your Jeremy Langfords, or I'm trying to remember some other running backs that the Bears have had in the past. But
Jordan Howard's
another good one. Like I look at those guys and I'm like, yeah, those guys are Bears running backs,
Montgomery.
right?
Montgomery.
Yeah, David Montgomery is like the most recent example, and he left for a divisional rival in the Lions, and
he's done great this year.
And we had talked about on our podcast when we had our podcast back in the day. I'm sorry about that. That David Montgomery is a good running back, and like you were convinced that David Montgomery was like a top 5 runner in the league, and like based off of like him by the time he gets a handoff or by the time he gets a pitch and what he's able to do, run with it.
No, he's really showing out. Like he's had a great year with the Lions. He's almost at almost 1,000 yards rushing, but on barely 200 carries. So he's been excellent this year.
And that's sharing the backfield with Jahmyr Gibbs, who's like one of the most electrifying rookies in the class.
Easily.
And he's still, producing. And again, sorry, because this is Chicago Clubhouse, but the Lions are great this season.
No, they are awesome. And that's why I'm confident about the Bears, because we beat them once and we should have beat them twice.
Yeah, exactly.
So the time we did beat them, we didn't just beat them, we kicked their ass.
I'd like to go back to that last comment that I forget who it was who put that.
It was Jeremy.
It was Jeremy. So the Zach Moss thing. I wouldn't necessarily agree with you, because Jonathan Taylor also missed the first few games of the 2023 season. he was injured for some of it, and also he had the whole contract dispute during the offseason, so he really didn't get a whole lot of like training camp reps, and he basically wasn't part of the team until he finally just made up his mind. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm done holding out, whatever. So Zach Moss really has the most experience from the 2023 team. And Jonathan Taylor's like now just getting back into his form and sitting against stride. I think he scored a touchdown in like 5 or 6 games in a row. Jonathan Taylor has. So
yes,
I would say that Zach Moss is going to next pick for the Colts.
He's been pretty good these past few weeks.
Yeah, that trade worked out really well for the Colts because it ended up being a swap of a fan favorite, by the way, Nyheim Hines, who ended up going back to Buffalo in the Zach Moss trade. And I was mad because I really liked Nyheim Hines because every time he scored a touchdown, he did a backflip. And he was also a very good special teamer.
But, he's a good player. We like.
Yeah, but like
I'm a Hines guy.
But like with the Colts, in terms of their expectation level, yeah, they've been outperforming expectations in my opinion. I didn't have any expectations going in. They used the 4th overall pick to draft Anthony Richardson, which obviously was a good move for them to try and get their franchise quarterback. Guy's very fragile. He gets hurt. He hurts his shoulder, and he's out for the season. And the Colts are on the cusp of making the playoffs so they can win this game against the Texans on Saturday. It's amazing to think that Shane Steichen...
Hi, I'm David Jones.
Wait, I'm sorry. That was a mistake.
I think you were shutting me up.
No, I was not. I was actually not. What I meant to do is, well, you said the word playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
That's what I meant to do.
I just hope we can win a game.
I just hope we can win a game.
Yeah,
but no, y'all can make it. That's pretty cool.
I think the Bears are going to be a playoff team next year. Throw it out there.
I appreciate that.
The Bears are going to be a 10-win team next year if they can hire the right offensive coordinator.
Hey, man, I'm with you there. I hope you're right. I think it'll depend on what we do this offseason, but I too am optimistic about the Bears' future long term, meaning starting like next year and beyond. But we do got to wrap up the show. Before we do, I want to just look ahead 4 days from now because there's still one more game, and even though the Bears are eliminated from playoff contention, and obviously we want to have a good second draft pick in the first round. The most important thing is beating Green Bay because the Bears are 13-42 against Green Bay in my lifetime, which is so beyond abysmal. And I'm ready to start righting the ship. However, it's going to be tough because Green Bay's playing some pretty good football. It's tough to beat them at Lambeau always, and they seem to have Justin Fields' number, and they seem to have everyone's number who's played against, who's played for the Bears. Also, they know Luke Getsy as an offensive coordinator, so the Bears are going to have to, really switch up their game plan if they want a chance to win this game. What do you think are the keys to the Bears winning this game? And do you think they'll execute? Meaning, what is your final score prediction? And Jeremy, if you're still listening, I was going to ask you for your prediction, but you beat me to it. You got the Bears winning 23-21, and that Fields leads a game-winning drive. All right, that's cool. I'm all for that. What do you think, Noah Freeman?
I think the Packers have something to play for, and the Bears don't. But also,
considering the Packers is something to play for.
Right. Considering the scenarios, I think if you can correct me if I'm wrong, the Vikings game that the Packers played against them on Sunday night, if that ended in a tie, I think the Bears still would have had a shot at making the playoffs, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So anyway, I just think the biggest key is getting home. And so the Montez Sweats of the world and seeing if, Matt Eberflus decides to blitz Edmonds and Edwards and go for it all.
Maybe Tyler Gordon every now and then off the edge.
Because, again, we talk about the inconsistencies at wide receiver that the Packers have. Jaden Reed has been like a really good rookie standout. The Michigan State player who is now with the Green Bay Packers. And he got hurt at halftime of the Vikings game. And so Jordan Love was down him as well. And they still ended up winning that game against Minnesota, who, by the way, have a very suspect defense just to begin with. But the Packers are going to be going up against a much better defense on Sunday in Chicago. And
in Chicago, not in Chicago, but in.
Yes, I'm saying yes, in the Bears. Yes. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I understand now. I just think that the Packers are still going to somehow prevail in this. It's a matter of, is A.J. Dillon healthy? I know he hurt his wrist against Minnesota. Aaron Jones is like starting to find his stride again after he had been injured during like the mid to late part of the season. I'm taking Green Bay just because, again, I think the motivation factor is there. But I think the Bears are going to play super loose. And I think it'll be a very fun game to watch. And it'll be something that is a nice preview of what might become later on in a year from now, because the offense is going to look different without Luke Getsy. And like you said, the Packers obviously have that experience with Luke Getsy being a Packers coach and then moving over to Chicago. I think
you know what he likes to call. That's why it's so stupid to hire someone from Green Bay. Like,
great,
as a coordinator. It's like you study to win in the NFL. You study as a defense to win. You study the opposing team's coordinator to know what kind of plays, what kind of schemes they like to call. So like, I just can't help but think like they're going to force some turnovers and they're going to figure out. And look, I wish I was as optimistic as Jeremy, but I'm with you. And I think that the Packers are going to win like 30-20 or something. I don't think it's going to be particularly close.
I was going to say 30-23.
Oh, okay. Well, yay. You cut it to a touchdown, but no. But yeah, I'm hoping I'm wrong, obviously. I want nothing more than the Bears to beat the Packers and completely spoil their playoff hopes. That would make me... If that happens, this is a successful season. I'm going to go out and
say successful season regardless. It's just...
no, you got to beat Green Bay. If you don't beat Green Bay at least once, it's not a successful season.
Oh. It's not like college football where you don't beat your rival for like 5 straight years, like Ohio State or whatever it is that, you can your coach. I'm not saying that Ohio State obviously can't Ryan Day. I'm just saying.
It's not like college football. You're right. But also the last time the Bears beat the Packers was 2018.
When was the last time they beat them at Lambeau? Was that at Lambeau?
2015.
Yeah. So they're due. Like, don't get me
wrong.
Yeah,
we're due. We're absolutely friggin' due.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears beat the Packers on Sunday. I'm just saying that the Bears are not as good.
I don't think we're as good. I don't think I think that's really what it comes down to is the Packers are a better team right now. And the Bears still have some work to do. That being said, I hope I'm wrong. And I would love nothing more than to come on the show after the game and just tell y'all how wrong I was about this game against Green Bay. Hey, my mom just tuned in. Barbara Gelb, shout out to my mom. She thinks the Bears will win. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate that. I think you're right, too.
Hi, Barb.
And tell Javi I say hello. Javi is her dog.
I didn't know Barb had a dog named Javi.
New dog. New puppy.
So that's why I didn't know.
There you go.
Mazel tov on the new edition. Love that for you.
Thank you. That's my brother. Anyhow, it's been great having you on the show, man. Tell people where they could follow you on the socials.
So if you see, thank you, Barb. Hi. So if you see my name, all you have to do is combine it and then put an underscore, and that is my Twitter handle. And yes, I say Twitter because X is 5
Twitter.
months named after Javi Baez.
The Javi, the dog.
Right. I don't. Oh, he's been with the
you,
family for 5 months, and he's named.
Yeah, he's 5 months old, and his name after Javi.
5 months old. Wow. What kind of dog?
I'll send you a picture. He's a cute, fluffy
send me a picture.
A golden doodle, I think.
Golden doodle, fantastic, hypoallergenic. We love it. But yeah, combine my first name and my last name, as you can see it on the screen, right? Where is it? There. Yep. See, I'm pointing at it, and put an underscore, and that's my Twitter handle. And I have a Facebook page. You just type that in, and it's Sportscaster. That's what I do up in Montana. I'm the sports director at a radio station. Ooh. This is me. I'm very bad at self promotion. So.
No, you should definitely follow Noah. He's got a lot of great content, and he's very good at what he does. He's made me interested in Montana sports, which I never thought would happen.
I'm very interested in Montana sports.
Definitely, most importantly, subscribe to the channel Chicago Clubhouse Network.
Yes.
Tune in tomorrow for the Chicago Midweek Bears Report. Tune in on Wednesdays for Easy Does It, although I might be going back to Fridays once She Said What She Said comes back after the season. And also on Tuesdays, we got Chicago Clubhouse Podcast, essentially, I guess, the flagship program of the show. And by the way, Vegas has this game as a coin flip because the Packers are favored by 3 because they are at home. Interesting. That's duly noted. Hopefully they are correct. And
that line might get
closer than I think it is. And hopefully the Bears Well, actually, no. Hopefully the Bears just blow them out and surprise everyone. But yeah. Anyway, as always, Noah, it's been a great time. For Noah Friedman, I am Elijah Zelonke, and this has been a Chicago Clubhouse production.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.